When I was little, I thought the parable of the wedding garment was messed up until I looked into it a little further. Let me explain. So Jesus says that there's a wedding party and he invites everybody, good and bad, and everybody is invited to this party, just like we're all invited to heaven, right? And so the party has started, but there's this one person who isn't wearing a wedding garment, and the king, who represents God, calls him out and was like, "Hey, how did you get in here without a wedding garment?" And then he kicks him out. He kicks him out of heaven after the party. And I always thought that was really messed up because I was like, well, I grew up poor, and I was like, hey, what if he couldn't afford a wedding garment? Right. And then so I looked into this, into like the context of the history of like what was going on back then and how kings would throw parties. So back then in Bible times, when a king would throw a party, your wedding garment, like the clothes that you were to wear to the party, would actually get mailed to you, or it would get dropped off by the king's servants ahead of time. And you would wear the king's wedding garments. You wouldn't wear your own wedding garment. Okay. You wouldn't bring like your best clothes or like, your own like silk or fine fabrics or whatever. You would wear the royal wedding garments that the king would provide for you, because the king's wedding is a time to show the king's glory. It was to show how rich and powerful and majestic the king was. It was not a time for you to show off like how ballin' you were and to bring your fancy clothes to the wedding. You know what I mean? And so I had it twisted when I was a kid. I thought the dude was too poor to wear like the proper attire, but in reality, most likely he was trying to show off his own wealth and his own, majesty, instead of wearing what the king had provided for him. So what this parable is actually saying is that the people who get thrown out of heaven, or the people who get thrown out of the God's wedding party, are those who try to wear their own righteousness and their own good works, right? You're trying to get into heaven saying, hey, look at all the stuff that I've done. Look at all the good I've done. Ha ha ha, look at me. Instead of wearing the robe, the wedding garment that God has given you, which is the righteousness of Christ, right? I hope that helps. When I learned that, it blew my mind. All right, bye-bye.